All right, tonight we're going to shoot a little instructional video on how to rig a rope rescue system that's a little bit different from some of the ones you may have seen. This one is going to involve replacing the reset brake with a rack in the mechanical advantage. This type of system is used for a type of incident where you need to lift the victim that's above you like a few feet to disentangle them or to get them off of their harness, and then transfer them onto the main system and then lower them all the way back down to the ground. So we're going to start with a regular 2-rope fire service system. We have 2 anchors out here. We have a tandem prussic belay, that's the blue line. We have a 3-to-1, which is the orange. They both run over to change of directions at the back of the truck, and then they run up to the ceiling through a change of direction up there. Our victim tonight is elevated. The rescuer basically made access above him, rigged the 2 changes of direction, and while he was up there doing that, the ground crew rigged a basic 3-to-1. So it's just like a regular 3-to-1. And as we come over here and we look at the 3-to-1, in our case, we would have basically displaced a reset brake, that Gibbs, off of the change of direction pulley, and we're going to replace it with a rack. And this happens even before you start the evolution. So the weird part of this rope system is that it's rigged with a rack instead of a reset brake. So he puts the rack in and he leaves the opening facing away from the mechanical advantage system. And he's going to rig the rack with the tie-off bar plus only the first 2 bars after that. I picked a guy tonight who's really good with a rack, so it goes in super smooth and fast with a little bit of fumbling. Maybe if you did some more magic with your hands. Okay, so he's got the tie-off bar plus 2. The reason this works is because a rack is such a linear friction device and it has such a wide range of friction that when we haul, we basically haul through the rack and we reset onto the rack. So, regular commands.
Haul main.
As they start the haul, he tends the rack away from the anchor. So he pulls on the tie-off bar, in this case with his right hand, and he floats the middle bar with his other gloved hand. Once the load is up,
stop.
We stop the haul. Before you tie off, we've raised the victim up and disentangled them. And the trick to the system now is the transfer to the rack. So he cinches the bars down. He gets a gloved brake hand for the rack underneath, and as he calls for slack, the brake hand rotates over the top of the rack.
Slack main.
He picks up the extra bars. While he's picking up the bars here, the haul team moves in and pulls a mechanical advantage off the rope. Once they've cleaned the mechanical advantage off of that, including the mechanical advantage rope grab, the person who's tending the rack has moved to the opposite side. And we're into a simple rack lower from here. Go ahead and lower him. and it's a rack lower. Now obviously if you do the math, you have a 3-to-1 mechanical advantage system. Let's say it's sitting 30 feet out. That's going to use up 100 feet of rope. If your victim's 100 feet in the air, you've got 100 feet going up and an additional 100 feet to lower him all the way back to the ground. So one of the disadvantages to the system is it uses a lot of rope, but one of the advantages is it's a really simple re-rig and you've got a rack lower for the victim to bring them all the way back down.